Is a Steam Deck worth the cost? Is it as good as people say? I'm here to find that out. I was gifted this amazing Steam Deck by a member of my community, Lil Poet Boy. So thank you so much for gifting this to me. And I am very excited to be checking it out for the first time. Good. How do I open? Oh, there is a little tab here. Okay, so this is the package, the sleeve, which I actually really like. I don't want to tear the tab, but it does have a tab. So I guess I'll tear it. Well, that was a little lackluster, wasn't it? Not a super clean tear, but there it is. Okay, so this is the case here. And I have to say, something I love about the Steam Deck is that it comes with a case. Valve and Steam, they just know how to do things right. All portable consoles should come with a case, I think. Ooh, whoa, okay. This is heavier than I expected. I'm very excited to see how this feels in comparison to my Switch 2, which I do use on the go a lot. Oh, wow. I do like the shape of this, and the screen is really big. Like, ooh, you can see me in it. Hello, Amanda. I've also heard that you can hook this up to TVs. Okay, so this is like the speaker. Is that what that is, or is that ventilation? It's kind of cool. I don't know if I can power it up right now. I do want to charge it. So we've got a Steam button over here. We've got 3 dots. You've got 2 pads that you can use, I'm assuming kind of like how you would a mouse on the screen. You've got your joysticks, which are up here. There's buttons on the back as well. You've got R1, L1, R2, L2. And then you also have 2 more buttons, L4 and L5, R4 and R5. This is for real gamers. I'm a gamer now that I have this. I'm a real gamer. I mean, I've been gaming for years, but I might become obsessed all over again with a new handheld console. That's dangerous for my ability to go outside and experience life. There are the menu buttons over on the tops over here and over here. It's pretty sleek, man. I gotta say. Also, is this more speakers or ventilation? These are probably speakers and the back is probably ventilation, I'm thinking. This is so cool. Ooh, ah. And that's all that comes in the case. So I was going to say there's no storage for games, but there doesn't need to be because it's Steam and all of our games are pretty much digital over there. It's one of the few places where I actually feel pretty good about owning digital games because I feel like Steam does try their best to fight for consumers and gaming companies as well. And just, is pro gaming. What a strange idea, a gaming company that is pro gaming. So the other thing that this comes with is this little box, which I'm assuming is the charger. And it is the charger. Look at that. Look at that charger. Ooh. And it's charged by USB-C. That's the little charging cable we have here. But that's pretty much it. So now all I have to do is play and then come back in 2 weeks to talk to you about it. So stay tuned for that. Hey there, friends. It's future Amanda here, and I'm here to tell you, after a few weeks with my Steam Deck, what I think of it now in the future. I have had the chance to play a few different games on my Steam Deck, and I tried to play a variety of things. I started off with Balatro, one of my favorites that I honestly do not play Balatro enough on Steam. I also played some Fallout New Vegas. I went to something that was a little bit more of a high fidelity game to see how that runs. I played some Assassin's Creed Shadows. And then I went to an online game, and I even played Marvel Rivals on Steam Deck, which if you don't know, I play weekly on stream. So that was a weird experience. And overall, I have to say, I think my consensus is everyone needs a Steam Deck. Obviously, not everyone can afford a Steam Deck, but if you are in a place where you could save up, you could afford one, or you could just afford one, I think this is a great piece of equipment to spend on. And I do think it is actually worth the cost, even though initially I wanted one for a while, but I was like, oh, it's just so expensive. I don't know. And there is one reason specifically why I really feel that getting a Steam Deck is worth it, especially in comparison to other handheld consoles that are like the Steam Deck. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that near the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. But first off, let's talk about how it runs. So first of all, I love the screen of the Steam Deck. I think it looks amazing. I think it feels great in my hands. I think that there are a lot of options for how you can play your game and what you can do when it comes to the buttons, because you have everything from a trackpad to a D-pad. You've got your joysticks. You've got buttons on the underside of the controller of the console as well. So there's a lot of options here when it comes to the versatility of how you can play your games, and even button programming if you are a person that likes to customize that. Visually and in your hands, feel-wise, I think it's a console that just feels amazing. It's a really nice piece of hardware. But how do the games run? And first of all, how many games can you even play on this thing? I think I have over 240 games in my library, and for me, about 87 of them are considered to be great on Steam Deck. So when you get your Steam Deck and you go into your library, you're going to see how the games are sorted, and there's specifically a tab that tells you the games that are great, and those are the games that have a green Steam marker. There are different ranges for how compatible games on Steam are with the Steam Deck, because some publishers and some developers are programming games to be more compatible and some just aren't. So there are an amount of games that are not recommended for Steam Deck, and then there are some that are yellow. The yellow marker means it's like kind of supported, but there might be problems. And then the green means you're fully good to go. Everything is optimized and you are going to have a good gaming experience. Now, that being said, I played a few games that were yellow. One of them was New Vegas and one of them was Marvel Rivals. So how did those play? I gotta say, I did not notice much of a difference. Both of those games ran in a way that I felt they deserved to be green. The thing in New Vegas that they explain when you start playing it is simply that when you need to access your keyboard to input like a name, for example, at the beginning of the game when you are saying, what is your character name? You have to press, I think, the Steam button twice to open up that keyboard. So it's just a little reminder of this is how you open up the keyboard on a Steam Deck, so you can type. The screen is also touch-based as well, so there are games like Balatro where I literally played by tapping things on the screen, which I also thought was kind of fun, so that's another way you can play games too. But just keeping in mind that I just needed to press the Steam button twice to open up that keyboard in Fallout New Vegas didn't really ruin my experience at all. For Marvel Rivals, I think potentially why it's yellow might have to do with the fact that you can use a cursor in Marvel Rivals. However, using a cursor on your Steam Deck is not that challenging. You hold the Steam button, and on your right trackpad, you can move your cursor around. So it's not that hard. There is some small text, but you can even zoom in on a Steam Deck, so you can actually enlarge text that you're reading on the screen. Granted, I read a lot of my Marvel Rivals text when I'm in stream and I'm at my PC. So I wasn't too concerned about reading anything. I was more focused on getting in the game and getting those W's, baby. And how did we do for that? Well, I played on my Marvel Rivals account, and I also had a friend who played a couple games on my Marvel Rivals account on my Steam Deck, and both of us felt, feels pretty good, man. I will say, I even got a few W's playing. I think all the matches I played, I won, which was pretty cool. Is that coloring my perception? Maybe slightly. But mostly I was looking at how does this feel? You know, is there a lot of lag or delay because I am playing online? And other than my friend having a moment of stuttering in one of their games, I did not notice anything. It felt smooth as butter. So if you are someone that is looking to get this to maybe play some things online, not so bad. Now, granted, I did have a little bit of an issue with the Steam Deck, and that was sometimes it would randomly disconnect from my internet. And when you are playing games where you need to log into something, so for example, I tried to play Assassin's Creed Shadows while I was out of my abode and I was not connected to Wi-Fi, and I couldn't actually open the game initially because I wasn't logged in. So I had to be connected to Wi-Fi to log into my Ubisoft account to open up the game because you have to go through the launcher, which I am not a fan of in general. It's less of a Steam Deck issue than it is a modern gaming issue. But that is a thing that people do as well so that they can sync with a cloud so that you can get your save on multiple types of consoles and platforms where you can play a game. So I don't necessarily think it's all bad, but sometimes it's a bit of an inconvenience. Now, as for the Wi-Fi issue, this was something that I did experience in my home. My internet was fine, but the Steam Deck would disconnect from it. And so I'd have to actually reset the Steam Deck to get the internet to pop back up. I would just reset it and then it would come back. But I don't know how common of an occurrence that is for other people. That was just something that I experienced. And it happened a few times. It hasn't happened in the last week. So I don't know if it was primarily happened while I was downloading. So I don't know if that's part of why that happened. So why do I think that this console, this glorious Steam Deck, beats out so many other handhelds? And I say this as someone that has a Switch 2 and who actually, I like my Switch 2. What I think this console is going for it is on Steam, there is more variety, more diversity in terms of the games that you can own. And while not all of them may be playable on a Steam Deck, a lot of them are. Because the one thing with Nintendo Switch is a lot of the times if you're playing on your Switch or your Switch 2, you're mostly going to be playing Nintendo games. Those are not necessarily the most affordable, the most diverse catalog of games that we have. A lot of them tend to be focusing on family, which that's what Nintendo does, so that makes sense. And pretty much all of them are about $80. Whereas on Steam, you can get a game for $5 and play it on your Steam Deck. You can get a game for $80 and play it on your Steam Deck. You've got options. And that being said, the Steam Deck isn't just a handheld console. Much like the Switch 2, I learned about something that you can do when you get one accessory. And that is the Steam Deck dock. You can get a dock that, like with your Switch 2, you can put your handheld on. You can put your Steam Deck on. You plug it in, so it's got some power. You plug the dock in so it can charge the Steam Deck. But then also, while it's connected through USB-C, there are other ports on the back of the dock, so you can hook this up to a TV. You can hook this up to a monitor. I could potentially use this with my capture card and use it to stream. So that to me is insane because it means not only can I take my games, and I have a pretty sizable library here with me when I'm on the go, but I could also bring this and a controller, which I could connect through Bluetooth to my Steam Deck and my little dock, and I could connect that to a TV while I'm traveling so that I could basically have a home gaming experience that is going to take up barely any of my suitcase size when I'm traveling. And that to me is what makes Steam Deck unique because there is so much range and versatility and it's portable. It's just amazing. And I wouldn't normally be blown away by something that is purely digital because something that I do miss is that there is no physical media that you have with the Steam Deck. But I also trust Valve and I trust Steam to have a sense of integrity when it comes to my ownership of my digital games. At least where we're at now. I mean, in 20 years, I don't know where Steam will be. I hope it'll be in the same place. But currently, I feel pretty confident about that company. So it's kind of nice because I don't have to worry about bringing anything else physically. Just a controller, maybe, some earbuds, which I have tried out, Bluetooth, headphones with it. That all works perfectly. I haven't tried out a controller yet, and I do want to get a dock so I can try it out on my TV. But maybe that's something for a later time. The dock is around 106 Canadian, so I'm just trying to decide when the time is right if I should get one of those. And if you would like a product review on the dock, please let me know down in the comments below, and perhaps I will speed up that timeline so I can get one sooner to let you know what it's like if you appreciate my opinion on this hardware. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it informative, and I hope that if you are someone who is considering getting a Steam Deck and you have the means to do so, that this pushed you over to the side of getting one, because I really do think it is a life-changing console as a gamer. You will be playing games all the time. Yikes, because you will maybe be a little less productive, but it is really great, especially if you're a person that has, any kind of commute in a city where you're on buses or you're on trains and you got time to kill. That is where I think it really stands out amongst everything else that I travel with. This is something that I am very grateful to have. So thank you again to Lil Poet Boy for sending this to me and giving it to me as a gift. It is deeply appreciated, and I will definitely be a fan of Steam Deck probably for the rest of my life. That's all I have for this one. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let me know down in the comments below how you feel about the Steam Deck. And until next time, friends, stay nerdy. Bye! And if you love when I talk about gaming, you need to check this out.